The country is divided. Some say we're on the right track, others say we're way off. Some say the world isn't round, but things will change. There's hope on the horizon, because everything will be better when James Lantiegne becomes president. And now, here's President Lantiegne.
Hi, my name is James Lantiegne, and I am your president because after last week's debate, let's face it, who else are you going to vote for? So today's episode, we are going to talk about the tax system. If there isn't an American in the country that doesn't agree that our tax system is the most unfair system around, I don't think there's anybody who's going to stand up and say, yeah, our tax system is, fair and equal amongst all the people. There's a couple of things I want to say about the flat tax. One is we have so many loopholes that are created in our tax code because politicians are paying off, money and things of that nature that were given to them by these large interest groups or by, somebody with a lot of money. And so it's like, well, we're gonna put our foot down and we're gonna make the rich pay their fair share of taxes. And let's create this loophole in there. So it sounds like we're gonna make them pay, but we got a loophole that they can take advantage of that nobody else can, because nobody else has the money or the tax attorneys to be able to shift through it like everybody else does. So the reality is that if you earn a paycheck, and let's say you earn $10,000, you are going to pay $1,000 of that money into taxes. Now, 10,000 is a low threshold because one of the things that I do believe is that there is going to be the one caveat to flat tax is that there is a threshold. If you make under a certain dollar amount, you are not paying taxes, which is pretty much the case right now. I mean, people say that, somebody earning $20,000 is in a family of three is going to pay tax. No, they're not. They're not paying taxes. But so there will be a threshold that if you make over a certain dollar amount, you will pay tax on that percentage of your income. Now, some people will say, well, okay, so let's say the threshold is $50,000, and that means the first $50,000 is free for everybody. No. If you make $100,000, you're paying $10,000 in taxes. You're not going to pay $5,000 because the first $50,000 is free. That's only because of low-income families that are struggling and they need to, they need to be able to survive. They need to be able to better their lives. And so part of what America should be about is to improve people's lives, to help them become better. That's one of the great things about our country is anybody can be whatever they want to be. They have to have the drive, they have to have the focus, and they have to have the will. And you put those three things together and, let's face it, we've started a magic shop. That is not a lucrative business. And we are struggling and we are doing everything we can to survive. But we have the will, we have the focus, and we have the desire to see this through. And so I do believe that this country gives opportunities to anybody who seeks it. And there are some people who just don't want to seek it. But if you are truly in poverty and you're not going to pay any taxes, but if you have a decent income and you're over that threshold, then you are going to pay a flat tax. There are going to be no deductions. There's not going to be any loopholes. There's not going to be things that you can take out of your income before you get taxed. No, you are going to get flat taxed. And if you make $1 million paycheck, then you're paying $100,000 in taxes. If you make $100,000 as a paycheck, then you are paying $10,000 in taxes. So everybody will pay their fair share. And for those who say, well, the rich should pay more, the rich are paying more. They're paying $90,000 more. So I think the flat tax is the way to go. And what it does is it also eliminates the need for IRS agents to go after personal income tax returns, because there is no personal income tax return. Your paycheck is $1,000 a week. You pay $100 of that to the government, and the $900 aside from state tax is yours. Believe me, if everybody is paying based on that system, there will be more than enough income to support and sustain the government, because there aren't all these games that people can play to avoid it. So if you're Amazon and you just got $1 million bonus, then you paid 100,000 of that to the government, and there's no trickery that you're going to be able to do in order to avoid it. Now, businesses, we will still need the IRS for, because businesses will be able to deduct their expenses and their employees and things of that nature, and they will pay taxes based on the net. And so, they'll still need to be IRS agents so that we can look over businesses to make sure that they are being fair and that they are being honest in their reporting. I'm a strong believer of capitalism, but I'm a strong believer of honest capitalism. When capitalism gets greedy and dishonest, that's where it breaks down. And I think there are a lot of honest business people, especially in small business, that are just looking to make a footprint, in their life and for their family. So we will have flat tax. We will not have IRS agents that will be going after individuals. There will not be loopholes that will be attached to any individual return. There won't even be a need for a return, because based on what you're reported, that is what you are paying in tax. There's not going to be refunds. There's not going to have to be, you got to pay because you underpaid. That's what it will be. So any questions?
We have many questions, as you may guess, on this one.
Boy.
Roger is asking, how do you monitor income? How many people get welfare today because they lie about what they're receiving in income? So how do you monitor income to make sure they're paying the right amount of taxes?
Well, you monitor it based on the fact that, when your employer is paying you a salary, they are obligated to take that flat tax out of your salary. And at the end of the year, they report what it is that everybody made and how much they paid. So if you happen to be self-employed and you get paid by a business, they will deduct 10% from that payment in order to go for your taxes. So it's,
kind of covers itself, is what you're saying.
Yep.
Okay, good. And then let's see what else we got. Will your 10% or 15% income tax, I don't know where 15 came from, pay for the things that we're paying for now, such as schools and Medicare, those kinds of things, or whatever federal programs there are?
Absolutely. And, because everybody's going to be paying their fair share. So there will be enough, because it's not going to be, people aren't going to find the loopholes in order to avoid having to pay it. So even the wealthy will be paying their fair share. And by the way, the other party, or the other group that will be exempt from taxes, will be senior citizens, because they've paid their dues. Now it's time for them to retire, and it's time for them to enjoy the last remaining years that they have available to them. And too often this country taxes citizens out of their homes, seniors out of their homes, because the taxes skyrocket and they can't afford to stay in their homes anymore. And we take money that they've already paid into a system for, and we continue to take money out of it. So no, there will be no tax to senior citizens under a certain threshold. Now, if you're a senior citizen that has multiple homes, then yeah, you're going to pay taxes on those other properties. But if you're a senior citizen who is, living under a modest income, then I would encourage the states to waive the taxes on the property.
Okay. And then Riley is asking, with the far lesser need for IRS agents, what do you do with all the IRS agents that are left unemployed suddenly?
Well, one of the episodes is going to be talking about being creators again. That's going to be episode number 5. And so just like everybody else, if we bring jobs back to this nation because we are creating again, then the IRS agents are going to have work. We're also going to be talking about in our next episode about community colleges, and so they can go to work for a college. I don't think it's the government's responsibility to make sure that we employ all the unemployed. I think it's the government's responsibility to make sure that they enable businesses to be able to create jobs. And so that's what we will do.
Okay, good answer. Wendy would like to know, can you do anything about state taxes?
We can't, but we can definitely encourage, and maybe there's some muscle that we can influence with some of the payments that the state receives from the federal government that, if you play ball with us, then these monies are available. If you don't play ball with us, then figure it out.
Okay. And the final question is, it's more of a statement, really. And Sandy disagrees with you. She says that you're wrong because the American dream is dead.
Okay, well, Sandy's entitled to her opinion, but the American dream is only dead to those who don't desire it. I think this country still enables people to be able to, France, we have people that come over to school for France because the French determine whether or not you are capable of going to college. And so if they deem you not worthy, then you go to a trade school and you learn a particular trade. So in this country, everybody's entitled to go to school and everybody is entitled to pursue the job they want to pursue. Now, will they necessarily get it? No, you gotta fight for it. You gotta want it. You gotta have the drive. You gotta have the willpower. And it's the same thing with chasing the American dream. You gotta have the drive and you gotta have the desire. If you don't, nobody's gonna hand you that dream.
Okay, good answer. And that was our final question, sir.
Alrighty. So up next on episode 4 is going to be talking about community colleges and offering 4-year degree programs.
Brought to you by Abracadabra, Hocus Pocus, Presto. Pick a card, any card. Some words are magic. They sparkle with the promise of something wonderful. But they're still just words until you add that something wonderful to the mix. And that's what you'll find at the White Rabbit Magic Shop in Santa Paula. Their inventory includes world-class tricks and illusions that are not only for sale, but that they will teach you to master. In addition, White Rabbit Magic Shop is world-renowned for its amazing collection of bicycle playing cards, with nearly 500 decks in stock. So, if you're serious about magic, then say it with us. At the White Rabbit Magic Shop, we believe in magic. The White Rabbit Magic Shop, located at 15500 Telegraph Road, Suite B15 in Santa Paula. For more information, please call 805-850-3051 or check us out online at wr-magic.com. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.